So this problem says the hypotenuse of a right triangle is 24 feet long. The length of one leg is 2 feet more than the other, and we want to find the lengths in the legs. So the first thing we should do in this problem is draw ourselves a picture. We are talking about a right triangle, and the hypotenuse is 24 feet long. And then we want to go ahead and get some definition for the other sides here. So it says the length of one leg is 2 feet more than the other. So I'm just going to let x be the length of what they're referring to as the other leg. Okay? And it doesn't really matter how I put that on the picture, so I'll just put it there. And then it says the other one is 2 feet more than that. So that means the other one is x plus 2. Okay, so we're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem to solve this, so let's go ahead and plug that in. And remember that the legs are your A and your B, and the hypotenuse is always your C. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plug these in. We're going to have x squared plus x plus 2 squared equal to 24 squared. Okay, and if we're going to solve, we're going to have to FOIL this out. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in expanded form. So that's actually x plus 2 times x plus 2, and we're equal to 24 squared. So 576. Let's go ahead and FOIL right here. So we have x squared. Outside's 2x, inside's 2x, and the last is plus 4, and that's equal to 576. Okay, let's go ahead and collect like terms here. We have 2x squared plus 4x plus 4, and then we want to set this to 0 because this is a quadratic, so we're going to want to either factor it or use the quadratic formula. So we have 2x squared plus 4x minus 572 equal to 0. Okay, so there's a greatest common factor here of a 2, so I think I'm actually just going to divide that out since we're trying to solve, and it'll make it a little easier, the numbers a little easier to deal with. So if we divide everything by 2 here, we have x squared plus 2x, and then minus 286. Now, that might factor, but this is pretty big, this 286, so I don't really know what numbers it would factor into. So I'm going to go ahead and use the quadratic formula. Okay, so let's list this here. A equals 1, B equals 2, and C equals negative 286. Okay, and remember our quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug these values in. So we have negative 2 plus or minus b squared, so 2 squared, minus 4 times a times c, and that's all over 2a. Okay, so this becomes the square root of 4 plus, we have 286 times 4, and the reason it's plus is we have 2 minus signs there, so this is 1144, and that's over 2. So this is negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 1148 all over 2. Okay, now the person that asked this question asked about approximating the answers, so I'm going to actually do both. I'm going to show you how to leave this in the exact form and then how to approximate the answers. So the first thing is this 1148 looks to me like, well, I mean, it's definitely divisible by 2 because it's even, but let's look and see if it's divisible by 4, because 4 is a perfect square. And it is, so 4 and 287. And I don't know, 287. I'm going to try it by a few numbers. I think it's probably prime. Oh, nope, 287 breaks down as well. Breaks down into 7 and 41, but those are both prime numbers. So we'll actually stop here in our factorization. Okay, so this is negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 times 287 all over 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify, rewrite what we have here. So the square root of 4 is going to come out as a 2. So we have negative 2 plus or minus 2, square root of 287 all over 2. Okay, and then this is going to reduce. So 2 goes into the negative 2, negative 1 time, and the 2's cancel there. So the exact form, this is the exact form of the answers in this problem. Negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 287. Well, excuse me, I should actually be more clear because we are talking about an application problem. And so because we've defined x to be the length of a leg, it makes no sense to have a negative answer. So your answer here would actually just be the positive portion of this. So this would be the length of one of the legs, and this is in feet. The other one is x plus 2. So we would have negative 1 plus square root of 287 plus 2. That's plugging this in for x and then adding 2. So positive 1 plus the square root of 287. So this is the other leg. So the way I have it defined, this one's the other leg, and this is the other leg. This is one of the legs, this is the other one. It doesn't really matter how they're labeled. Okay, so those are the exact form of, of our answers right there. Now, if we want to approximate, then we're just going to do this on our calculator. So the 287, I'm going to take the square root of it, and I think they're asking for 1 decimal place. I mean, excuse me, 3 decimal places. So if I take this for 3 decimal places, it's 16.941. So right now I'm doing this one right here. I'm approximating this one right here. So the square root of 287 is 16.941. And then subtracting 1, the approximation here would be 15.941. Okay, the approximation for this one would just be 1 plus 16.941, or in other words, 17.941. And these are all feet. Okay, and that's it in this problem.